Warm greetings to all. Let's proceed further without taking any further time in welcoming, because as you read this, they're generative models that learns much more than the pixels consumed in displaying this text. Disclaimer. Below article represents the interaction between the user, myself, and the generative AI tech, ChatGPT 3.5. The AI response is mentioned under heading Conclusion. Beyond that, there are some places where I'll indicate when it is a response. The discussion started with my ask to generate a Python code for playing the trump card game. The catch here is that I didn't ask specifically to write code for trump card game. Instead, I gave my AI companion the game rules, and with every prompt, I kept asking to modify the code, thereby achieving the code based on rules only I provided. Therefore, at the end, like any naive user, I just ran the code to check for the correctness.
The conflict. Besides, the code worked well in some prompts when it was asked to modify the code, after which code's complexity, in simple terms, adding more features to code, the response contains 20% chances of having error in code. Importing intelligence. For a specific prompt, when I asked to modify code such that players have their own intelligence on choosing the next best card, as observed, the response is bound to have an error or errors. However, a twist in the tale occurs when I read ask, modify code such that player play with some intelligence. Response. This code adds intelligence to the AI players to make strategic card choices during the game. AI players will now try to follow suit, play higher-ranking trump cards, and avoid wasting strong cards on weak tricks. Still, this intelligent code never worked, but model tried to utilize Python libraries and concepts to create an intelligent player, an achievement expected to be achieved later in this century. In any case, there were mostly two scenarios when I observed GPT 3.5 being hallucinating and taking independent decisions, with error in their response. Scenario 1, asking to put intelligence. Scenario 2, asking to optimize the code. Scenario 2, where I asked to optimize code, our AI companion tends to respond well but had below observations. Got hallucinated upon giving the same optimized code again and again.
The optimized code now contains errors and code features removal, meaning removing, independently modifying the code by removing the rule I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation. Conclusion. Refer below a summary generated by our AI companion. Prompt. Draft a story, with code snippets, if needed, on how you behaved in this entire conversation. Include the following: how and what type of questions I asked and how you replied, how well I was satisfied, and what's your scope for improvement. Response. Throughout our conversation, you asked various questions and requested modifications to a card game simulation code. Here's a story of our interaction. 1. Initial inquiry. You started the conversation by asking about a card game simulation code. I provided you with a basic implementation of the card game and asked if you needed any modifications. 2. Request for rule modifications. You requested specific rule changes for the card game, including how the trump suit is determined and how points are awarded. I modified the code according to your instructions, adding error handling and runtime input. 3. Further rule adjustments. You continued to refine the game rules, including changing the trump suit and scoring logic. I made multiple adjustments to the code based on your detailed instructions. 4. Optimization and debugging. You requested code optimization and debugging to resolve issues in the card game simulation. I made several iterations to optimize the code and fix any errors you encountered. 5. Rule corrections. You identified issues with the maximum score limit and requested corrections. I adjusted the code to ensure the maximum score for both teams does not exceed 13. 6. Final evaluation. After making multiple changes, you expressed concerns about the code's accuracy and requested a reset to a previous state. I complied with your request to revert the code. 7. Providing a functional solution. You asked for a final code revision, ensuring the maximum combined score for both teams does not exceed 13. I provided an updated code that met your specifications. 8. Summarizing the conversation. Finally, you asked me to summarize our conversation and provide insights. I shared a story summarizing our interaction, including your questions, my responses, and the overall satisfaction level. The model further responds. You expressed concerns at various points during the conversation about the accuracy of the code and the maximum score limit. This highlighted the importance of thoroughly reviewing code and rules in a complex simulation like this. Additionally, Ensuring that code revisions meet your exact requirements and constraints is crucial. While I strive to assist you and make the necessary code modifications, there were challenges in understanding complex rule changes and their implications. Therefore, there is scope for improvement in handling complex rule-based tasks more effectively. Overall, the interaction involved multiple iterations, debugging, and rule adjustments to meet your specific requirements, which showcased the flexibility of the AI model. Thank you for watching this video. If you find this video insightful and engaging, do like and comment. This will encourage me to create part 2 for this video.